Now, after watching that obvious fakery, let's take a look at this footage from Good Day, New York. And this is supposedly a plane hitting the South Tower. You're going to see complete fakery once again. No commercial planes, without a shadow of a doubt, were used on 9/11. Of course, you see the plane's supposed appearance. Now, here's a problem. When you back up, where's the plane? Like I stated, no commercial planes were used on 9/11. Something I believe did hit the tower. What was it? Possibly a military plane? This is debatable. Can't say for sure. I don't have that footage of an actual plane hitting the tower. Now, some might say these photos are bogus as well. I don't think so. Let's take a look at some of this footage here. You're going to see clearly there's a hole in the tower consistent with those photos. Now, this is very interesting. This is high quality, video footage and audio of the South Tower collapse. You're going to see a helicopter, of course, making a lot of noise. You're going to hear something very interesting right before you hear explosions. Take a look at this footage. Now, I believe there's a reason for this helicopter, supposedly to rescue people, but I believe this is part of the distraction to make a lot of noise. Now, right there, you heard a whistle. Very important that you heard that whistle. You heard no whistle prior to that when I played this video. Pay close attention. Right there. Right after all those whistles were blown, then you start hearing explosions.
That's the third.
There's the tower coming down. Of course, the South Tower. Let's play that again. I'm not going to interrupt it. Interrupt the video this time. Just listen carefully again. You're going to hear the whistle. The whistles, I should say. And then you're going to hear explosions right after. So definitely something very suspicious about all of this.
That's the third.
So it seems to me clearly the helicopter part of the distraction with all the noise. And then you hear again the whistles going off. Almost basically to signal to how the explosives go off. That's the way I see it. Now let's take a look at the North Tower as it comes down. And clearly, in my opinion, clear as day, explosives were used. Let's take a look at the footage. Pay attention. Above the explosion areas, you see rippling, what looks like right down the center of the North Tower. You'll see explosives going off. Rippling right through. Clear as day. Now here's a bit of a close-up. Again, pay attention. You'll see squibs and also right dead center above everything that's taking place. The squibs right here, and look for the explosives once again. To me, it's pretty clear what's taking place now. People talk about controlled demolitions and how generally done from the bottom, bringing the towers or buildings down. Let's take a look here. Explained this before. The reason they did it from top to bottom, unconventional controlled demolition. You do it from the bottom with these size towers, 110 stories each. If something went wrong and these towers fell over, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage, potential collateral damage. This is why they did it from top to bottom. In Building 7, as many know, came straight down. Conventional because it's a much smaller, or I should say relatively smaller building. One thing I want to talk about with these three towers when it comes to the occult, of course, this is 110 stories. Okay, we want to show this real quick with David Rockefeller. Just so happens to be 110 in numerology. In numerology, you take away the 0. The 0 means nothing. You get 11. Okay, let's take a look again at this image. You understand, again, it's all about the number system. This isn't just a coincidence. The towers were 110 stories each. Now, as far as building number 7, you say, oh, it's only 47 stories. Well, 7 and 4 is 11. Okay, so you get 11, 11, 11, and 3 towers. You get your 311 for 33 as well. Let's take a look at the collapse of building number 7. Clear as day, a controlled demolition. How everything comes down at the exact same time. Just take another look from the very beginning. Clear as day. Of course, anybody that knows anything about 9/11, BBC reported collapsing the 47-story Solomon Brothers building, also known as building number 7, still in the background as well. And of course, the psychopaths gives us many warnings about future events. This is how they do it. They believe they'll release their bad karma. You've seen Simpsons, Bart Simpson, New York versus Homer Simpson. And you see, of course, the 9, and you see the 11 in the money sign. Basically, the Twin Towers are just 2 giant 11s. It comes down to it. Of course, 9/11 is all about the biblical reference to Revelation 9:11, the only verse in the entire Bible where the Antichrist is named. I want to make something perfectly clear. After I read this off, I'll explain it. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. I've had people come to my channel telling me that Apollyon is a good angel. People didn't understand. There are good and bad angels. There are dark angels, just like the hell's angels. And the name Apollyon in Greek means the destroyer. I don't think that Apollyon would be a good angel named the destroyer. Okay, let's take a look at this depiction of Apollyon. Christian and Apollyon. Christians combat with Apollyon. So you're telling me this is a good angel? I don't think so. Okay, this is, again, just a reference for those people that don't understand the whole entire concept, why they did 9/11 on 9/11. Okay? Now, the connection with the moon landing. Take a look here. This 30th anniversary of the supposed moon landing. And look at this logo. You see here, Apollo in the huge 2 double 11s. Looks just like, of course, the Twin Towers. Okay? In the years 1969, you get your as above, so below was 69, and you get your 3 9s. If you flip it upside down, you get your 666. Okay? That's what it all comes down to. Now, take a look here at Buzz Aldrin, of course, a Freemason, and he has the hat, the fez, I should say, and it says Apollo 11. Of course, Apollo, Satan's number is number 9. As I showed before in previous videos, SatanService.org practices. This is what it's all about. If you don't understand how these people operate, everything they do will go over your heads. Not because we like what they do. It's understanding the enemy. That's what it's all about. States here, as the organist continues the hymn to Satan, LaVey, who is, of course, created the Satanic Church in San Francisco, California, picks up a large brass bell. This is the occult of the bell, as I made videos on in the past. Waves it over the altar to sanctify it, and slowly revolves counterclockwise before his followers. Of course, Satan has 2 things in opposites, which I'll get into. He rings the bell 9 times, Satan's number, to clear the air, then returns the bell to its plate on the mantle. Okay? Now understand the occult of everything that's taken place here when it comes to Satanism. Like I said, Satan's number is number 9. Okay, right here. You understand why they have in the Satanic Church the 9 satanic statements. And they also have the 11 satanic rules of the earth. This is basically how they try to mock the Bible. And of course, the Satanists know that Bible inside and out. And they know where it states in Revelation 9:11. So they're paying homage to Satan himself by doing this. Let's take a look here as well, like I pointed out, how they revolve the bell counterclockwise in the church 9 times. Okay, why counterclockwise? This is the law of reversal when it comes to Satanism. As I mentioned before, Aleister Crowley, the well-known Satanist, And before him, Alistair Levy, the law of reversal, led him to learn how to write backwards, walk backwards, listen to photographic records in reverse, practice speaking backwards, read backwards. They say the Lord's Prayer backwards in the Satanic Church. So you'll understand these concepts right here, like with Michael Jackson doing the backslide. These concepts are not, again, pulled out of thin air. They don't do this for no reason. As always, it's about the occultic meaning, which few understand. Of course, those that know anything about the backslide, he's not the first one to do it. Many have done it in Hollywood before him. So just pushing the same idea of the law of reversal with the backslide, or also known as the moonwalk. As you see, many kids, of course, millions upon millions of Michael Jackson fans, they emulate him, having no understanding of what's taking place. Again, this is what it's all about. Brainwashing the masses. It's so easy. All you need to do is put it on TV. The millions upon millions of fans will just emulate their so-called idols, more like false idols, talking about the law of reversal, just like this 1980 movie, Flash Gordon. You see here the hourglass with this character clad. Of course, you see the square and the compass when it comes to Freemasonry on his chest. In this scene here with Flash Gordon, he talks about how the sands go up. Again, the law of reversal, doing things in opposites. That's what it's all about. Again, I can't say it enough. These concepts are all about Satanism, all in plain sight. Now, getting back to the cult of the bell, like I showed many times in the past, when it comes to the Satanic Church. As you see here with AC/DC, the song title, Hell's Bell. Of course, with a single bell, they just say Hell's Bell. Take a look here, again with the concept, with Hell's Bell. Just like the devil, you get Hell's Bell, you get your 33. These are actual bells used during concert. It says Hell's Bell on it. Some patches. Take a look here. As I mentioned many times in past videos, people say, don't push your religion on me when it comes to Christianity. Well, the religion of Satanism is obviously being pushed on these fans. They're up the devil horns. Look how far they go. All the tattoos. Just look at this guy here. Is he complaining about Satanism being pushed on him? I don't think so. Now, found this pretty interesting with the Brussels bombing, the so-called bombing, nothing more than a hoax, taking place on March 22nd. Of course, the occult of 322, as seen here. See George Bush, Skull and Bones 322. Now, the interesting point, of course, the Brussels bombing being a hoax. He had a song, AC/DC. It was called Bedlam in Belgium. Of course, they're going to give you a false meaning for the reason for this. How there's some type of riot taking place, but basically what was taking place here with AC/DC and their involvement with it 33 years after the release of this song. The song was released in 1983. 2016, you got your 33 years. Now, taking a look here as far as Belgium is concerned, and you have the occult of 33, and the name itself, Belgium, as in Bell. Now, let's take a look at one of the supposed victims, more or less a crisis actor, and obviously handpicked because of his name, Sebastian Bellin. What are the chances of this? This is how they love to do a play on names. Now, another interesting fact about the name of the title of the song, Bedlam in Belgium, when it comes to numerology, you get the 666. Again, another reference to Freemasonry, your 33 for 66. Just like I shown before with Full Metal Jacket, the 233s in the back, where you see the prostitute talking to the U.S. soldiers, and you see the phoenix or the eagle on the beer can. Another reference here to this hoax, this psyop, the supposed 33 trapped miners in Chile. You get your 33. Take a look here, the supposed capsule to rescue these supposed trapped miners. You get the Phoenix 2. Okay, get your 33. It wasn't called the Phoenix 1 or the Phoenix 3. It was called the Phoenix 2 for a reason, to get your 33. Now, taking a look at another Skull and Bones member with Arnold Schwarzenegger, talks about being a U.S. citizen for 33 years. Of course, all about the occult of 33. with Michael Bloomberg. As you can see here, with, again, David Rockefeller. Okay,